Hi, everyone, and welcome. It's our weekly one-on-one with head coach Doug Pederson. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro, presented by Wawa here today. And, Coach, look, what do you take from the loss to the Carolina Panthers? The really, really good for 3 quarters, or the really tough stuff in fourth quarter?
Yeah, it's hard, to sit here today and try to put a finger on the whys. One of the things is that we talk about as a football team is learning how to finish, and it's not, when you're up 17-0, that doesn't mean the game's over. You still have to go play. You got to play for 60 minutes, and this is what I talk to the team about all the time is we got to continue to play and finish the game out, because every team is good, every team is talented, and every team has the ability to come back in any football game, and so from our standpoint, making sure our guys remain focused and the coaches remain focused, and we still have the aggressive mentality down the stretch to finish and put teams away.
So out there is one kind of perspective. In here is a totally different perspective. How do you go about these next several days getting ready for Jacksonville, an unusual trip, a long road trip as well?
Well, 2 things. Number one, and I love our fans, and I love how they come to the link, but right now that's out there. That's not my focus. My focus, sure. Number 2, is the football team and making sure that our guys stay mentally tuned in, and that we don't listen to the outside and start driving wedges in our team somewhere. That's the thing, that we can't fracture the team that way, and so that's my job this week, and then making sure we have a solid game plan, all 3 phases, and go play a playoff team who was in the AFC Championship game a year ago in Jacksonville, who has a lot of talent on defense, got some playmakers there on offense, and they have their own struggles, and we have ours. So 2 teams that are kind of licking their wounds, getting ready to play on Sunday.
4-minute offense. I know you want it to be better. What does this team need to do to make the 4-minute offense better?
I think there's 2 things with 4-minute. One, the ability to run the football. And then 2, staying aggressive. And there's a fine line with staying aggressive. So if you're going to throw the ball, making sure that they're completions that are sort of right in front of the quarterback, and stuff that we can get. RPOs become a part of that process. And the 4-minute offense is another way of finishing a football game. And some of the things we talked about, with 4 minutes or so to go in the game on the sideline, was just that. Let's finish either with points or finish with the ball at the end of the game and be in our victory formation. So we're going to take a look at that as a staff these next couple of days and make sure that our plan is solid, going into each week.
The ability to run the football, how do you feel about the ground game and where it is right now?
I think we did I really do think we did some good things in the run game. We had a big run in the red zone that was negated by a penalty, a chop block there, so that negated some yardage there. And listen, the running game is about timing, it's about angles, it's about what we talk about, smash and stacks. You get 2 double teams usually, and taking care of the interior guys, and we got to make sure that we're on point there. Backs have got to obviously run with their eyes, not so much with their legs, and be able to see holes and cuts. And then if we ask the quarterback to, get into the RPO world, that we're making sure that he's on point too, and that he's reading the right guys and doing the right things there. So there's a hand in it, all three aspects: the line, the backs, tight ends are involved. Obviously the receivers are involved too when it comes to the run game. And the other thing too is making sure we don't have too much in a game plan. Where we can maybe scale back just a touch and just have repeat runs, maybe put a couple of formations to something, but things that we can have time on task also becomes important for us.
It sounds like you're really evaluating. I mean, a lot of things are going on right now. How do you consolidate all that in such a short period of time?
Well, that's the thing is a lot of times, winning, on the other side of things, when you win, it covers up a lot of this stuff, right? Now when you lose, it sort of exposes these things for you. And so for us as a staff, in all 3 phases, we got to make sure now that we are covering up everything, and we're turning over every stone, and we're executing and doing the right things in practice. I got to look at practice. How do we practice? Is the structure right? Meeting times, all that stuff now becomes sort of magnified. But it's not, Dave, part of the thing too is I feel like that let's not change just to change. let's just get better at what we do, and let's detail it a little bit better, and let's teach it a little bit better, and that's kind of where we're at.
You got a young quarterback who's sitting there 1st and 10 at the Carolina 22-yard line, minute left, a couple of timeouts, going in for the win, and this is what Carson Wentz does. He goes in and wins. Didn't win on Sunday. So, young quarterback like that, what does Carson take from that experience?
Well, I think he can take a lot. I think there's a lesson to be learned there that as aggressive as we're going to maintain and sustain on offense and try to shoot the ball in the end zone because we needed a touchdown, sometimes you don't have to get it all in one play. And we still had some time and timeouts in that situation. And you go back and look at the plays. Again, there's enough from an offensive perspective, and it's not, we say, hey, it's a lot on the play caller, me, it's a lot on the quarterback, and he wants the ball in those situations, and we want him to have the ball in those situations. But at the same time, we want to make sure that the play is right, and then we execute that play to get ourselves in the end zone.
Other side of the football, your thoughts on the defense?
For 3 quarters, it was lights out football. And again, for whatever reason, you go back and look at the tape. I mean, we were in position to make some plays. We just didn't do that. We didn't tackle well. In the back end, I thought there were some opportunities to rally and make some plays on the ball. We just weren't there. I thought the Panthers their pass protection was better in the second half and than it was in the first half. And then listen, Cam's a big quarterback, and he's very athletic, and he had a couple of scrambles there and late in the game that kept them on the field. And then, of course, 22 McCaffrey, same thing, find a check down. Next thing you know, he's 10, 12, 15 yards down the field. So, the effort's there. We just got to continue to grind and practice and, show them the good, show them the bad, keep them encouraged, keep them engaged, and get ready for another opponent.
And we learn in this building, you turn the page very quickly. So Sunday, it's a big road trip, a long road trip. How do you eliminate distractions? How do you make sure that this team finishes the first half of the season the right way?
Well, I think number one is this is a good time to kind of get away, and this is a long road
way
trip,
away, yeah.
long way away, and to refocus and kind of just be together as a football team for a couple of days. And the thing is, one thing I do know about our football team is this is a resilient group. They bounce back extremely well, and they're mad just like we are, and they're upset and disappointed just like we are as coaches, and that's good, because it'd be different if it was just the coaches that were upset. But the players are mad, they're disappointed, they understand where they're at. This is a great week to regroup, refocus, and try to get to 4-4 with a break. Get some guys healthy coming out of the break, and we'll see with the last 8 games.
And the Jaguars, also a desperate football team. This should be a great game on Sunday.
It should be. It's a tremendous defense, a lot of talent over there offensively. I know they've got some issues there, but still a dangerous football team. It was a playoff team from a year ago, and our work's cut out for us.
All right, Doug Pederson, one-on-one, presented by Wawa. Thanks for joining us.